Hey guys, so welcome to another episode of the show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, be sure to come join us. We'd definitely love to have you. That community was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, service providers who are serious about getting consistent high ticket clients to their businesses and scaling that 6 and 7 figure level. So if that's you, then come join us, High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, private Facebook group. We'd definitely love to have you be a part of our community. Now, with that being said, today's guest is Shakia Mayer. Welcome, Shakia.
Hi.
How are you doing back there?
Oh, I'm just fabulous.
Nice, nice.
Amazing.
Nice. And where are you located, by the way?
Oh, I'm actually in Jersey, the great state of New Jersey.
In Jersey, Jersey. Goodness, I haven't been to that part. Well, are you born and raised back there as well?
Yep.
Okay. Have you done any traveling or
Oh
just?
yeah, yeah. If we weren't in isolation, then I would be booking a trip somewhere. But I've gone quite a few places around the world. I love to travel.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Oh, you've traveled worldwide then. What's your favorite place to visit?
Uh, so I'm like torn. I love Sicily just
Mhm.
because of the vibe. And when you go to like the old small towns, the food, I enjoy it so much. But I really loved Greece because I
Mhm.
love history.
Okay, let's stop. Let's just stop. You've done too much traveling. You make me jealous right now. Let's just end it here. No, no, no. Keep going.
No, I love Athens as well,
Uh-huh.
for the like historical purposes and things like that. But there are a few spots, around the globe that I enjoy.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Awesome. So I guess with that being said, let's jump into what is it that you do?
I am a licensed mental health counselor in the great state of New Jersey, and I am a content creator and the founder of The Courageous Chick, which is all about empowering ambitious leaders, influencers, and visionaries to boldly create the lives that they deserve. And so I teach about mindset shifts, mental health tips, and manifestation.
Okay, good. So what's the first one? You said a mental health counselor.
Yep.
How did you get into that?
Um, I want to say I've been doing it forever,
Mhm.
ever since I was a child. But I started studying actually. I took my first college course while I was in high school,
Mhm.
and I was able to receive college credit, and I love the field of psychology. And from there, I pursued it in undergrad, and then I went to graduate school, and I have my master's in counseling for mental health and wellness from NYU.
Mhm. Okay, good. So it's been like I guess you've been in it for your entire life then.
Kind of.
Yes, yes.
Some would say that if you met
Yeah.
my family.
And so the courageous chick, right? Is that what you called it, the courageous chick?
Yeah.
What's that one about then?
So that's all about empowerment. That's my way of being creative. I'm a creative person. But as you are delving more into your professional life and or you're in school, sometimes it's hard for you to still be creative. And so anyway, with the courageous chick, I was able to use all of what I've studied, because I also in college I double majored in psychology and communication studies. And so I
Mhm.
was able to use that background and create this YouTube channel where I post videos. And as I said before, it's for encouragement and motivation, and it's where I can teach and give little tricks and hacks to have a better life, and whatever better means for you, whatever that means for you.
Yeah, yeah. And how did you get started with it? Did you start off with a YouTube channel? How did you decide to get
So
started?
I started off with the focus of coaching in addition to counseling. And from there, I was trying to figure out, well, what is it that you actually want to do with the courageous chick? And I love teaching, and I love, talking and speaking, and connecting. And then it went from focusing on coaching to transitioning into more content creation. So not to say that I won't go back into coaching,
Mhm.
but just focusing on this for a while, because I also still practice. So I still see clients. Well, when the world opens back
Yeah.
up, when outside opens up, I'll be seeing clients again. And so I still have my therapy clients.
Yeah. Okay. Now with the Courageous Chick, you said with content, are you creating content for others as well too? What, or is it just your content for you and the channel?
Right now it's just content for my channel, and recently I've been adding on interviews, and so bringing new voices onto my channel. I should also say that so there are multiple things.
Mhm.
But I co-founded a mental health organization. So majority of my work has been trauma-based, helping people through experiences, whether it was assault or childhood abuse or community violence. That's been my expertise when it comes to counseling, as well as working with children and adolescents. And so my business partner and I, we decided to combine our experiences and create an organization that focuses on mental health for children. And so we offer in-home counseling services for children throughout the state of New Jersey. And so that is also keeping me busy as well.
Mhm. Yeah, you definitely sounds like you have a lot going on back there.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I believe that the days of just focusing on one thing and doing that for the rest of your life, I
Mhm.
don't believe you have to do that. And that's honestly how and why the Courageous Chick was even started. It was because I wanted to really empower women to know that they get to decide how they want their lives to be. And so if you are multi-passionate, it's okay, as long as you have a plan. You can't just throw everything out there and be like, okay, I'm doing this, and you're all over the place. You have to have a solid foundation. You have to have clarity on what it is that you're doing. You have to have the confidence to be able to do it, and then the game plan to make it happen. And so while I'm involved in different things, it's very strategic on what I'm doing. But it's also because it's part of my mission and my purpose. But I want to throw some fun in there, and that's where the YouTube channel came into play.
Awesome, awesome, perfect. I love these unscripted interviews as well too. I'm listening upstairs and I could hear my nephew. He just brought his friends over, and you might hear some screaming. You might not, but just a bit of context there. But I love this type of stuff. Okay, so in essence, so it seems like you come from a place of empowerment, which is really, really, really powerful. I believe that. The world needs individuals who come from that empowerment place, because I believe that there's so much negative things out there, negative stuff. And one of the things I've realized, even with today, with I guess the coronavirus, how it shifted everything, which is now we're all online, and online is a place of, hey, there's a lot of freedom online, meaning that you could build a business, you could start something, you could do something out of the comfort of your own home and make a difference. But the only way you could do that is if someone kind of, if you're empowered, right? Versus with all the negative stuff. So I definitely believe in what you do here. Now, tell me, in terms of the mental health, mental aspect of it, what's the biggest challenge you see as you're facing as you helping individuals on that front?
Honestly, I think it's the initial acknowledgement that there is something going on. A
Hmm.
lot of times, especially depending on the type of community you come from,
Hmm.
um, the type of community where I was raised, the idea of going to a therapist was unheard of. It's like, you don't do that. That's for people with money, or like that's for people who don't look like you. And so getting people to the place to see that it is absolutely okay to ask for help and to go get help from a professional. I
Hmm.
think for a lot of my clients, that's the first hurdle, because even if they come to you and you do an intake assessment with them, they're still trying to fill you out. They're like, yo, what is this counseling thing?
Hmm.
uh, I'm coming here and I'm just, you think I'm going to tell you all my business? And so it's really letting them know that it is okay to get help. It's also okay to be a little apprehensive about the process, right? And so as a therapist, what I want to do is I want to make this as comfortable for you as possible. Now, is therapy the most comfortable thing in the world? No, because we're going to do work and I'm going to challenge you. But it's that initial step of knowing it is okay for you to get help. You deserve to go to a professional and talk to somebody about what's going on, especially during times like now where there's a crisis going on and everybody's trying to figure out what the heck is happening, or why do I feel this way? I'm waking up and I notice that I still feel restless. I wake up and I have this headache, my stomach, I'm queasy. You might be experiencing elevated levels of anxiety. When there's a pandemic going around, if there's a crisis, that's not unheard of. And so I like to validate that for people, that it's okay for you to experience these thoughts and emotions. And now once you do, what are you going to do about it? What type of action are you going to take? So the first hurdle is getting people in the mindset of knowing it's okay to accept help.
Now, what's the best way to do that? How do you feel is the best way to help let people know that it's okay? What have you figured out? What's your process? How do you let them know that it's okay to get help? Do you have any things that you do strategically?
Yeah, I mean, I am very conversational. So I don't go in the room and like a robot. I know that that's sometimes the perception of mental health professionals, but I try and be my best professional self. And so I always will, as long as it's appropriate, validate what the client is experiencing. And I will ask them, questions, or ask them to ask me questions. What would you like to know? Is there anything that I can do to help you to feel more comfortable in this moment? And so sometimes I'll take their lead, because then that helps them to feel like they have a sense of agency, because it's not me that's going to fix your life. I'm there to help you, and give you the tools and support you along the way. But it's your action and it's your habits that you want to change, and your thoughts that's going to fix your life. I'm not going to do that. And I let them know that. And so I start off with conversation. I ask questions, little questions, small questions, and then I will invite them to ask me something, and we just build from there. And as long as they keep coming back, we continue to build that therapeutic relationship.
That is so powerful. And it definitely seems like you come from a frame of empowerment. I know, because with what I do, I help coaches, consultants, service providers really grow to their business at 6-7 figure level. And I've noticed that most individuals, when they first come in, it's like they really expect me to fix their life, fix their business, fix everything. And that's typically not the way, although I know we have the best trainings in the world to help individuals grow to the 6 and 7 figure level. But I know at the end of the day, a lot of what creates success, a lot of what creates change and the transformation that we all want to become better is we have to take full responsibility for what it is that we're doing here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or nothing changes. You can give somebody $1 million plan, and you can say, do this, do this, do this. And if you do these things, you will make $1 million. If you don't have the mindset to be in this space to even make $1 million, to believe that you can make $1 million, and then you don't have the right type of action behind it, the best plan in the world is still not going to work. Exactly. And so from the very beginning, I tell them, this is a partnership. We're a team here. So we have to help each other during this process, because you are yourself, yourself. And if there's some, things that you might have a question about, then that's something we can explore together. But I can't come in with all of the answers about your life. Yes. I need you to jump in and you add something, because it's your life. When you leave my office, you're still going to go back to your life.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a point that I stress. And some clients don't like that, but that's okay.
Yeah, the saying I like to say is like, wherever you go, you're going to take yourself with you, right? So
exactly.
Get away from who you are.
Exactly.
So my next question becomes because you mentioned you heard that you use the terms of counseling, a therapist, or therapy, and coaching. How do you differentiate between those three categories? What's counseling versus therapy versus coaching?
So for me, counseling and therapy, I use them interchangeably. For some practitioners, they will they'll define counseling as something that's more like a supportive process. And so it'll be determined upon who you're working with, the population that you're working with. And for therapy, it might be people who have more intense or severe symptoms. But at the end of the day, it's still a therapeutic process. And so for me, they're the same. It's about that support that you're receiving from the professional. And then with coaching, coaching is different because if I were to just coach a person who wasn't a client that I'm seeing in therapy, I'm not diagnosing you. For coaching, you don't need a degree. For mental health counseling, for the state of New Jersey, if I call myself a mental health clinician, but I didn't have a license and I did not have at least a master's degree, I'd get in trouble for that. So those are the logistics, but in terms of the actual support piece, the types of issues that a person might deal with in coaching might be different than they would in counseling. And so let's say if a person had a history of severe trauma, and they were physically or sexually abused as a child, and they're experiencing different types of trauma symptoms, whether it's, well, I won't go into that right now, but they're experiencing certain types of symptoms, then my hope is that they would see a trained professional. And this is obviously, no disrespect to coaches. Coaches are awesome. But they're, for what a person may need, that might be, it might be helpful based off of what they need. That can determine the type of professional that they go to. What I will say is, though, with my clients that I see for therapy, there does come a point where we do start that coaching process. So once a person their symptoms are more stable, and they're more grounded, and now they are able to think more rationally, we do start that coaching process of now goal setting and implementing these goals and that action piece. So I combine it. I always, I have to assess whether or not I have to assess what's appropriate for the client at that time.
I love it. That's awesome. So I guess what drives you, and what I mean by this is that, so for me in my business, right? So I realize the thing that drives me is, just from my perspective at least, financial abundance. Because I remember growing up really, really poor. Grew up in the Caribbean. It wasn't considered poor, but it wasn't the most, I'd compared to everyone else. Everywhere else, it was like, whoa, the way you were living isn't the greatest. But I realized that for myself, I just want to create financial abundance within my life.
Yeah.
And it kind of took me a while to figure it out, because I think a lot of what I did was just get myself into debt. But when I really started figuring out what financial abundance was and how I could build a business where I could generate income and do all that type of stuff, that really drove me.
Yeah.
But after a while, it started dying. I couldn't figure out, okay, there's no motivation anymore. It's like I figured out this financial thing, but there's no motivation. But it wasn't until I started helping others do that, and for me, what drives me in my life, my business right now, is just the stories people tell me of how what we help them with change their financial destinies, their financial futures. People who've been struggling, and they get their financial abundance, financial freedom. That really, it wakes me up and just says, okay, I'm on purpose there. I'm doing exactly what I should be doing, because it's come from a frame of helping others. So, with your business, with what you're doing, what drives you to do what you do?
Yeah, it's going to echo, honestly, some of what you said, which is that transformational piece. When, if you, for those of us who are in the mental health field, we get very little validation or recognition. So you don't go into it for the glory or for the money. So it really is, to me, one of the most powerful moments in counseling is when you not only hear the words that are coming out of your client's mouth and they're saying, look at how much I have grown since we've started working together. My relationships are better. I feel better about myself. I haven't had a depressive episode in the last 6 weeks. I haven't had panic attacks. When you hear them say that, and then when you can also see the physical changes, because mental health not only impacts one part of your body, right? It not only impacts the mental well-being, but if a person or not just mental health, but a mental health condition. If a person has a mental health condition, it can impact them physically, it can impact them on an emotional level. And so when you can see that change has happened, it's amazing. And for me, that's what helps me to keep going. Now, what I will say is, in full transparency, because I talk a lot about, mindset and things of that nature. I didn't believe that therapists could make a lot of money, and whatever a lot of money is for you. But what they tell you in school is like, you'll be poor.
Mhm.
Expected not to make a lot. And so initially going into it, I was like, well, it is what it is. And so I was lucky enough to have had those types of, relationships with my clients, to see that transformation with my clients that helped, that helped me to want to continue. But also I changed my mindset. I don't believe just because you are in a particular field that you have to be poor. I also don't believe that you will be a good helper if you are poor, right? Or if you don't have the type of money you need in order to not just survive, but to really live a lifestyle. I love traveling. I'm not giving that up.
Right.
There are certain things that I enjoy. And so I did have to change my mindset and tell myself that it was okay for me to also want to grow professionally. And that's where some of these other business ventures came into play, because I had to give myself permission to know that it was absolutely okay for me to do the other things that I enjoy and to charge for it. And I just wanted to put that out there, because I know sometimes people feel that if they are in a certain field, well, this is it. And it's like, no, what kind of life do you want to live? You deserve to live the life that you want to live. So what do we need to do to make that happen? Sorry, that was a
No,
long
no, that's
answer
fine. That's
there.
fine. I could tell the passion is coming out of it, which is good. It's always exciting to see something, what people are passionate about. Um, so the final question becomes, well, really two more questions, really. So the first thing, like, what one skill would you say that you've kind of developed over your entire life that really made the biggest difference in your life today to get you to become the person that you are today? Is there any one skill?
So it's listening.
Hmm.
Um, Active listening, and that comes, I need that for the type of work that I do. You need that for the type of work that you do, right? That active listening.
Right.
But listening also to genuinely hear what the person is saying and not turning it into something else. Because I realize, if for a while I struggled with that self-doubt and self-sabotage. And so if somebody were to make a certain type of comment to me, I might only hear that one negative thing, which would then cause me to be like, okay, well, you know what? I might as well not even try X, Y, and Z. I should just stop what I'm doing. I should just stay in my lane. I should stay in this one little lane or this one little box. But it was really starting to understand that you need to really hear what it is that the person is saying to you. Like, what are they saying? And that goes with the getting over self-sabotage. And so I guess then a skill would be mindset, honestly. It
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
yeah, it's mindset.
Love it, love it. And if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
I am on Facebook. And so if you go onto Facebook and you go to @CourageousChickCoaching, I will pop up, The Courageous Chick. And then I'm also on YouTube, The Courageous Chick TV. That's the name of my channel. So go check it out. I love my videos.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, in that case, guys, hey, thank you so much. And with this, all the links Shakia mentioned here, I'm going to have them right below this video, so you should be able to click and it'll take you right to all the resources she mentioned here. And Shakia, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
I do. So I was watching some of your content, and so just really quickly, because I know sometimes people can be a little dismissive of mental health. And so I just want to quickly say that mental health, again, it's not a mental health condition. Everybody has mental health. We may not all have a mental illness. So mental health is your emotional and social and psychological well-being, how you think, act, and feel. So I want you to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health, because that's also going to help you to be more productive, to show up in your business, to have healthier relationships. So don't dismiss it just because it may not be, the coolest topic for some people, but it is important for you. It's so important for you to take care of your mental health so that you can have the life that you deserve. That's all I have.
Yeah, I just heard like I'm not sure if that was a motorcycle that just went by near your place or something, but I just imagine like that's how you would end the interview, which is as soon as you get done, somebody just hands you a helmet or Harley, you put it on and say, "Peace, guys."
I like that.
Awesome. Hey, well, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch. Okay.
Same. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.